One of the most important skills and habits you can learn is how to manage your money. Sadly, a lot of people fail to develop this. 60% of Americans live from paycheck to paycheck, and it's getting worse when we think about how much credit card debt is rising. Have you ever heard of the phrase, pay yourself first? If you're in business or self help, you probably have. You may have heard about it here on YouTube or in the book The Richest Man in Babylon. But what does it really mean? Paying yourself first doesn't mean you have to spend a portion of your income on things you don't need or perhaps partying the night out. It just means you should set aside a portion of your income every time you get paid. You should do this before you pay your rent, taxes, or anything else. This percentage can be as high as 20% or as low as 1%. The goal is to just get started. Earlier, I said that managing money is both a habit and a skill. A habit is something you get used to over time. The general rule is that you need 14 days of repetition or 2 weeks of doing the same thing over and over again. This rule is called the 14-90 rule because it takes 14 days to form a habit and 90 days of repetition to form a lifestyle. This rule usually works for most things, especially those you do every day. However, it doesn't work for money management because most people don't get paid every day. Instead, most people have jobs that pay them monthly or weekly. Money management is also a skill that can be learned and mastered by anyone. It's all about having the right financial knowledge and more than just putting money away for investments in the future. In this video, I'm about to share 4 fundamentals of money management which will make a huge impact in your financial lifestyle. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and that little notification bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of our video updates. Plus, it helps us spread the Thrive Wise love to help more people thrive wisely. Now, let's begin. Number 1. All that matters is how much you keep. If you want to grow financially, you should always remember that it's not about how much money you make, but how much money you keep. For example, 2 employees make $10,000 monthly. One spends it all in one sitting, while the other one puts aside 20% for investing and 20% for emergency funds. Now, given that they have the same amount of salary, who do you think will grow financially? Among the two, who do you think will most likely live one paycheck away from disaster and even bankruptcy? Did you know that 70% of lottery winners go bankrupt? First of all, this happens because they don't know how to handle that much money. They'll invest it in things they don't understand, and they won't be able to control their emotions when they see tempting opportunities, knowing that they will still have a huge chunk of money. They won't even keep track of their money, not realizing that $1 million isn't an endless supply of money. Money management is what keeps you from going bankrupt. So, if you want to grow, you should think about how much money you're setting aside for investments and savings. If that percentage is less than 10%, you should rethink about how you're managing your money. But most people don't even know what that percentage is, which brings me to the next fundamental, which is number 2. Keep track of your finances. If you keep track of your spending on a regular basis, you can get a good idea where your money is going and where you'd want it to go. Then you can use a budget to keep track of all of the bills you need to pay in the future. But before you start putting your numbers into a spreadsheet or app, take a minute to write down all of your monthly expenses. Most people don't know how much money is coming in or going out. You must keep track of every penny you spend, and then depending on your financial situation, you should put your spending into 4 or 5 categories. Why don't most people keep track of their finances? Well, they're lazy, and they're afraid of the truth that they're spending too much. This is because keeping track of your money shows you your spending habits, which might be very unhealthy. When people are uncomfortable with the truth, they do one of 2 things. They delay the truth as long as possible instead of telling it now, or avoid the truth and act like everything is fine. Unless you write your finances down, you won't know how much money you really have to save and spend. When you keep track of what you spend, you can see where you stand with your money. When you know how money works, it's easier to be a good budget planner. After all, you can't make a budget based on things you don't know. Keeping track of your money is a good way to get ahead financially because it helps you figure out what your financial reality is. Before going to fundamental number 3, do you agree with what has been said in numbers 1 and 2? What do you think you've learned so far? We'd love to hear about that in the comment section below as we all try to help each other out. And going back, number 3, sort how you spend your money. Here's how you should sort out your money. Money is used for 5 things. You make it, you save it, you invest it, you spend it, and then you donate it. The last one might not be applicable to you depending on your finances, but donating money is an important part of our society. Most rich people donate thousands or even millions of dollars to charities they care about. And these are not just random charities. These are charities that they really do care about. Actually, rich people usually put all of their spendings into 4 or 5 categories. First one is needs. As you might have guessed, this is everything you need to survive. These are very important things that you can't live without for a long time. This group includes things like food, a place to live, and transportation. They are very much considered to be the most important things in life. We're not talking about the new model of luxury bag you've been eyeing for a few weeks now. Your needs are the bills you have to pay every month, like your mortgage, rent, car insurance, electricity, and water bill. They're likely to take up a chunk of your paycheck. If you think your finances are not in really good shape, you might also want to change your subscriptions or move to a less expensive apartment to save money on things you need. A gym membership could be considered a need because it's good for your health, but you might be able to work out at home without any of the expensive equipment. You can also eat in a fast food chain since food is considered a need, but you can also make a meal at home at a lower cost. Assess how you spend your money and decide what you really need, and from there, cross out anything that could stop your money from growing. Second is wants. Wants are things you pay for that you think would make your life better. These are things that you buy for fun or relaxation. I mean, you can get by without them, but they make your life more fun. For example, food is a need, but eating out every day for lunch is probably more of a want. Wants also include every night out with your friends, sweets, your Netflix subscription, and anything else you don't need to live. This is where you should seriously cut out expenses. I'm not saying you should cut out everything at once, but you should consider cutting by at least 25 to 50% depending on your situation. If you keep track of your expenses, this will be easy to do, and it will be otherwise if you don't. Third is savings. This includes all of the money you save for emergencies or to invest. Before you save to invest, you should save for emergencies. As mentioned earlier, most Americans live paycheck to paycheck, which means that if they lose their income source today, they might not be able to make it until next month. If you live like this, then most likely you're always 1 month away from failure. I don't know how comfortable you are with that, so first you should save for at least 3 months of rainy days. This means that if you lose all of your sources of income, you'll be able to survive for at least 3 more months. Some people save up to a year's worth. You can try to save and invest 20% of your net income. This includes putting money into a bank savings account for an emergency fund, putting IRA money into a mutual fund account, and putting money into the stock market. Fourth would be investments. This includes everything you invest in, whether you get a return or not. It's not just stocks, bonds, tradings, or real estate. It could also be investing in your education. You should always calculate your return on every investment you make, and you should always be okay with losing money. Number 4. Debt is powerful if you have the brains and discipline. People talk about how dangerous credit cards are all the time. Some people are so afraid of debt that they won't use their credit cards even if they're in a desperate situation. This is a good thing because debt is usually bad. But there's actually this rule of compound interest. Most people say that compounding is the best way to invest, and Warren Buffett is a big fan of this principle. It means that the more money you make, the bigger your money-making potential is. It's like a snowball effect, and growth is exponential. Even if you start out with very little money, you can make a lot of money if you're disciplined, patient, and smart. But there's something that most people don't talk about. Compounding works both ways. It can help you make a lot of money, but it can also put you in a lot of trouble, especially with credit card debt. It's not what you want, and at all costs, don't do it. Pay your credit card bills on time. This is the most common type of debt in the US, ahead of student loan debt and medical debt. Having said this, that can also be a good thing. We're not talking about not paying your bills on time. Instead, we're talking about borrowing money from banks to invest or even just using your credit card to make banks trust you more. If you want to buy a home, invest in a business, or buy a business in the future, you'll probably need to borrow money from a bank. To figure out if you can be trusted, banks will look at your history and credit score. If you never use your credit cards, you won't get these credit scores either. There are actually some good things about this. If you use your credit card, your bank will give you little benefits for doing so. Here's a pro tip. You can call your bank and ask for a lower interest rate on your card. You can also ask for more benefits and perks. Most people don't know this, but you can negotiate with banks and you're likely to get what you want if you ask nicely. However, you're not going to get what you want if you don't ask for it. Remember that debt is a powerful tool, but you can hurt yourself with it. If you have the right financial education and discipline, you can use this to your advantage. If not, you should first develop and master your financial skills. After all, you don't want to risk everything just to buy things with money you don't have. And there you have it. The 4 fundamentals of money management which will make a huge impact on your financial lifestyle. If you enjoyed this video, then you will probably learn a lot more from watching this other video. Secrets that poor and middle class people don't know about money. If you click on the screen right now, you can go and watch that. Do you want to learn more on how to thrive wisely? What videos would you want to watch next? Feel free to comment down below. And please don't forget to click the subscribe button to see more videos on how to thrive wisely. Till next time.